It began like any other day in Jerusalem, but in heaven and in hell, this was no ordinary day. The city was stirring, but somewhere on the outskirts, a man had already been awake all night in anguish, betrayal, and brutal torture. His name was Jesus, the Son of God, the light of the world. The one who fed thousands, healed the sick, raised the dead, was now being led like a criminal. The sun had barely risen, but his body was already broken. They pressed a crown of thorns into his head. Blood streamed down his face, his back ripped open from the scourging exposed muscle and bone. And yet, he said not a word, not one complaint, not one cry for help. Instead, he walked. He carried a wooden cross, splinters digging into wounds. Every step on the road to Golgotha was a choice to love you, to save you, to stay. At 9 a.m., they laid him on that cross. Nails were driven through his hands, then his feet. The sound of the hammer echoed like thunder across eternity. And then, they raised the cross. The King of Heaven, suspended between earth and sky, naked, bleeding, and alone. But he looked down on the crowd not with rage, but with heartbreak. And then his first words from the cross were not curses, not groans, but a prayer. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive the soldiers who beat him. Forgive the priests who lied about him. Forgive the crowd who betrayed him. Forgive you, forgive me. Even while dying, he was interceding. The crowd laughed. He saved others, let him save himself. The religious leaders mocked. If you are the Son of God, come down. But he didn't, because he wasn't there to escape the pain. He was there to endure it for us. Beside him, two criminals hung on their own crosses. One joined in the mocking, but the other, in the middle of his pain, whispered something so raw, so desperate. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus, even while suffocating, bleeding, dying, turned to him and promised, today you will be with me in paradise. A dying man found eternal life with his last breath. That's how deep his mercy goes. Below the cross, Mary, his mother, stood in silent torment. The boy she once rocked to sleep, now dying before her eyes. Her tears mixed with the dust at her feet. And Jesus, seeing her pain, even then, honored her. He looked at John, his beloved disciple, and said, behold your mother. To Mary, behold your son. In his final hours, he made sure she wasn't alone. That's who he is, always thinking of others. Then came noon, and everything changed. The sun disappeared. Darkness fell, thick and unnatural. For 3 full hours, the earth trembled beneath a cosmic silence. Creation itself seemed to grieve. The skies wept, the angels watched, and Jesus bore the weight of the world. It wasn't just nails that held him there. It was our sin, our shame, our guilt. Every lie, every betrayal, every act of hate, every secret we hoped would stay hidden, he carried it all. And at the height of that darkness, a cry tore through the silence. My God, why have you forsaken me? The one who had known unbroken fellowship with the Father from eternity now felt the crushing separation. This was the cost of redemption. He experienced the forsaking we deserved, so we would never be alone again. Time passed slowly. Eternity compressed into hours. His body convulsed, his lips cracked, his lungs collapsed under the weight of his own body. And then a whisper, I thirst. They offered him sour wine, a final act of mockery. But then, he lifted his head, and with all the strength left in him, he shouted, it is finished. He didn't say, I am finished. He said, it, the work, the mission, the price, paid in full. And finally peace washed over his battered frame. He looked upward, one last time, and whispered, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And with that, the Son of God died. The ground shook, rocks split, tombs broke open, and in the temple the thick veil separating man from God was torn in two, from top to bottom. Access to the Father was no longer through rituals or sacrifices, but through him. Even the Roman centurion, hardened by war and violence, looked up and gasped, truly this was the Son of God. The sky slowly cleared, but the world would never be the same. This was love in its most brutal form. This was the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world. This was our ransom paid, our debt erased, our chains shattered. He could have come down. He could have stopped the pain. He could have called 10,000 angels. But he didn't. Because when he saw that cross, he saw you. When he felt the nails, he thought of your name. He stayed, because his love would rather bleed than lose you. And though this was the end of his earthly life, it was just the beginning of our eternal hope. Because 3 days later, the grave couldn't hold him. But that's a story for another time. For now, let your heart sit with this truth. The Son of God suffered, bled, and died because he couldn't imagine eternity without you. This was the price of love.